Race Spec. And there is Pacific Tier 1. See if it's working. Yep, so the audio is working as it should. The stream's up, the chat's up, we're all good to go. So, hello and welcome everyone to round 11 of the PlayStation Pacific Tier 1 series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Everingham, your lead commentator for this evening, and we're back to begin another week of racing, and this time we're at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the Mexican Grand Prix. Built in 1959 and first used in Formula One in 1962, Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez is, in its current form, is a 4.3 kilometer, 17-turn circuit based in Mexico City. It has quite a unique layout as it consists of long straights in the first sector, fast sweepers in the second sector, and a tight, twisty arena section in the final sector. It's going to be tough to get the setup absolutely right for this race, with drivers having to find the balance between raw straight line speed and speed carried through the fast turns. They need to find a balance between the car being stable enough to get through the high-speed S section in one piece, but unstable enough so then the car can react and turn quickly to get around some of the tight bends around the circuit. Definitely something that the drivers will be thinking about before they head out on track. Still got a couple of cars still in the garage, probably fine-tuning their setups. For me personally, as a fan of the sport, I've always had a bit of a gripe with this circuit. Sometimes I feel parts of the track are a bit of a missed opportunity. But as a commentator, I have seen great dramatic races here. So hopefully we get to see one here tonight. But first, a bit of news from last week. Now, the race we saw in Hungary had a very dramatic ending. Like, seriously dramatic. And in fact, all of the incident reports revolve around the final safety car restart and the laps following. But, there was an incident between Isaac Kush and NRX Blanchard as Izzat retired from the session. There's a reason why he's done that. So Izzat was found at fault for an incident at the safety car restart coming around the final turn. He was given a 20-second time penalty and 4 penalty points. Not that the 20-second time penalty meant anything, because he retired out of the race. But the 4 penalty points did mean something, and because he accumulated too many penalty points, Izzat has to serve a qualifying ban. Not that it's a bad thing, because we only have a 13-car field tonight. The reason why the field is so small is because we have a little thing down in Melbourne where horses run around in circles, and apparently that gives you the right to drink as much alcohol as you want, to the point where you start seeing in double. And you really shouldn't be behind the wheel of a car, that sort of drunk. So that's why we have such a small field here tonight. But there was also what we saw between G-Force Crichton and Jax, who sets the fastest time with a 15.8. That's get beaten by Leo in the Williams. Now we saw some pretty on-edge racing between those two in the final couple of laps. Most of it resulted in no further action, except for one maneuver made by Jax, but the stewards deemed he moved more than once in a braking zone, so he was given a 5-second time penalty, which demotes Jax from P11 to P12 in the final results. Looking in the Drivers' Championship, Crichton is leading the way on 244 points, followed by Spilly on 180, so 64 points separating the top two. Neither of them are here tonight. They're both absent. Someone who is here, though, is Jax. He's P3 in the championship. He's on 147 points. He's 97 behind Crichton and 33 behind Spilly. This race can give a massive opportunity to Jax to close up the gap to the top two. Leo is 4th in the championship. He's on 136 points. He's 11 behind Jax in the championship. Rounding out the top 5 is Spicy in the McLaren on 98 points. Then we got GeForce Ford, GeForce Wogboy, Scotty coming off a podium in Hungary. Then Blanchard and Plebs rounds out the top 10. In the Constructors, Mercedes are leading on 296, followed by Aston Martin on 272. G-Force Ford is here, so he'll be able to fly the flag for Aston Martin, but there's not a single Mercedes here tonight, so an opportunity for Fordy and Aston Martin to close the gap to Mercedes at the top of the table. Same story goes for Ferrari. They're third in the championship on 239 points. Both cars are here tonight, so they can really close the gap. McLaren are fourth, followed by Williams, AlphaTauri, Alpine, Red Bull, Alfa Romeo, and Haas. So there we are. That's it in terms of news throughout the week. We can now fully focus on qualifying. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing that we only have 13 cars here tonight, but I suppose with the Melbourne Cup on, you kind of expect that. But as I've always known throughout my commentating career, field size doesn't dictate race quality. So even with a field of 13 cars, there's still a chance that we see some really top-notch racing. And hopefully we will. First I have to get through a tricky qualifying session. It's currently overcast here in Mexico City. What a cloud cover about. You might see some rain. If one of the 13 drivers is watching the stream, don't be afraid to tell me what the weather report is. And don't be afraid as well for any other viewers to make yourself known in the chat. I'm always happy to talk, especially when there's not much action going on track. Scotty, he's coming back into the pits. He's running low on fuel. I didn't see the flashing icon. It was definitely low on fuel. BPV8 getting ready to set a flying lap. BP recently is on really good form. Saw a couple of races outside of the Tuesday races on Race Spec where BP has performed really well. See if he can carry this form in the Tuesday races. He's setting off on the flying lap. We'll give you a guided tour of this 4.3 kilometer circuit. Down the incredibly long pit straight down towards turn 1. Probably the best overtaking opportunity on the track. At 320 kilometers an hour, brings it down to third gear. Gets through turn 1, into turn 2, then 3. It's a very tricky chicane to get it absolutely right. You have to cut as much as you can through there, but if you cut too much, obviously you get an invalidation. Into turn 4, brings it down to third gear. Hits the apex nicely through turn 5 into this unique double sort of apex hairpin of turn 6. I find that corner rather nice. I like going around that corner. No idea why. Just do. Through 7 and 8, then turn 9 into turns 10 and 11 that complete this high-speed S section. It's very brutal. If you get it wrong, you could easily end up into the barrier. Into turn 12. Then into my least favourite part of the circuit, the arena section, through turns 13, 14 and 15. Then 2 corners remaining, turns 16 and 17. Gets through those pretty nicely, up towards the line. 6th fastest for BP on the medium tyre as well. A few drivers qualifying on the mediums, a few drivers on the soft tyre. No, hello ECW and hello Bailey. Best of luck, Bailey, for tonight's race. Thank you for telling me. It's a full dry race. Those are typically better than having wet weather interference. So hopefully we get an entertaining race. And yes, the strategy would be interesting as well, because the soft tyre is incredibly rapid around here. It is insanely rapid. I imagine drivers will definitely be thinking about doing a 2-stop here tonight. Maybe a soft, medium, soft race. If we have a safety car thrown in that mix as well, that will definitely spice things up. Yes, that arena section, it's my favourite bit of racetrack in all of Formula 1. I love that arena section. I think it's just a brilliant piece of engineering. Hello, Ferrari Pro. Looking forward to Elite. Elite will be interesting. No assists around this sort of circuit, where it can be incredibly brutal. No, it's good to hear that you're looking forward to that race on Sunday. I'm looking forward to a nice week of racing here in Mexico. Jamie going on a flying lap, heading down the incredibly long pit straight, down towards turn 1. See your speeds of over 320 kilometers an hour, 321 into the braking zone of turn 1. Really cut a lot there, too. Didn't cut too much at turn 2, didn't cut too much either at turn 3. So he could have found a bit more time if he was a bit more aggressive, but he kept it within the white lines, that's the main thing. Apparently purple to the first sector, I don't know about that. It's a nice little glitch in the game where a driver who is setting their first flying lap is always shown with purple sectors. No idea why, but it's a thing. Through turn 7. Oh, and he invalidates at turn 7 as well, you can tell from the red mini-map. Very, very easy to do through this X section, so is this. Losing control, oh, that's a great save from James. Oh, keep it out of the wall. Oh, you put it in the wall. Because you have to remember, it's not just the front wing that can get damaged anymore. It's the whole car. The floor, the inner floor, the outer floor, the rear diffuser, the rear wing, that could all get damaged. So there's an all in that car. Was very taily through the hairpin. You have to be so careful. And I'm not sure if you can get floor damage repaired in online qualifying. I know you can in offline career mode, but yeah, you really want to try and keep it off the walls. No, Ferrari Pro, that's actually something I wanted to point out that you pointed out there. So, in real life, and it's one of the features of the circuit, is that I'm pretty sure this is the tallest Grand Prix on the calendar. I'm pretty certain of that. That this is the tallest Grand Prix as Wogboy retires. Macedonian has crashed out at turn 8. Actually, yeah, turn 8, turn 9. This is the highest race above sea level. I think this is... Oh, I don't want to take an educated guess, but I'm pretty certain this is the tallest Grand Prix. And the air here in Mexico City is incredibly thin compared to the European tracks we go to, compared to the Asian tracks, compared to the American tracks that we go to. And what you tend to see in real life is that teams run the tallest wings they can possibly have in order to generate any downforce. And because of the lack of air around the circuit, by increasing the wing, you don't get the deficit of drag because there's no air. So, but I don't think that's accurately represented in the game. I think that's been left out. I'm pretty certain that's been left out. There you go. So, thank you, KD. 2,286 meters above sea level. Very tall. But yes, it's quite a unique characteristic about this circuit in real life that I don't think is reflected in game. So, but hello Lewis Patton, hello to you. No, make yourselves friendly in the chat. Discuss. You can bring up topics and whatnot. We're getting towards the pointy end of qualifying. We got Spicy at the top of the table, setting a 14.3. Will is getting ready to set a flying lap. GeForce Ford is on an in-lap, I'm pretty sure. Low on battery. He's low on fuel as well. Fortunately, the lap here at Mexico is quite short, so he should have enough time to get back into the pit lane, put on fresh tyres, and have another go. BP making his way round the hairpin of turn 6, running low on fuel. Yeah, he's not on the push lap. He's definitely not on the push lap. His teammate Will is heading down towards turn 1, 323 kilometers an hour into turn 1. That's the fastest I've seen, that I've paid attention to at least. Exiting turn 3, using all the curb on the outside, as you should. Down this long straightaway towards turn 4, that's Leo getting out of the way. Through turn 4 into turn 5. Nice and steady here from Will. Exiting turn 6 in third gear just to find the traction. Down towards turn 7 into the S's. Gets through here relatively in one piece. Oh, that's a bit awkward at the final part of the S's. Yeah, his car was understeering at turn 10. That compromised his line for the left-hander of turn 11. Just cut a little bit too much, and yeah, that's an invalidation. But you see this a lot here in Mexico. You see it a lot. Alright, well, he'll give it another go. Just a brief reset. Then back down the pit straight towards turn 1. Yeah, that's true. Seeing not too many people on the medium tyre. I suppose a lot of people just want to start on the soft tyre and do a soft medium soft race, a two-stopper, rather than be at the deficit right at the beginning of the race. They would much rather have the track position, get towards the front, and be on the same tyre as everybody else, and effectively try and do the same strategy. Will, he was purple to the first sector. He was up by just over a tenth and a half. He's currently 6/10 off pole position. Oh, and he invalidates at turn 6. Well, he hasn't got a flashing red fuel icon, so he still has fuel. Scotty, he's making his way around turn 6. Leo's making his way through these incredibly difficult S's. They're very, very tough to get right. Or especially if you're on a pad, as Leo demonstrates there. Somehow, that isn't an invalidation. The game deciding to be lenient there. Up towards the arena section, brings it down to first gear, short shifting to third to find the traction, fourth gear, then through turn 16, then turn 17. The final corner on the racetrack, a bit of a wiggle there, up towards the line, and Leo goes second fastest, finding a little bit of time in the final sector. In fact, he might try and push and do another flying lap. Scotty, I believe he's just completed one. He's not using any battery, so he's not on a flying lap, so I think Scotty's session is done. Bags is getting ready to set a flying lap, so is Plevs. He's coming through the S's now. BP just behind. Spicy, our current pole sitter, heading towards the arena section. GeForce Ford starting a flying lap with 44 seconds left in the session. Heading down towards turn 1. Will is retired in the pit lane, so the best he can hope for is P6. Through the opening chicane, turns 1, 2 and 3. Nicely negotiated there. Down towards turn 4. Jax just behind. He's on a flying lap too. 28.4 in the first sector. What about for Jax on the medium tyre? 28.44 in the first sector for Jax. Jamie coming towards the end of a flying lap. P5 for the Alpine driver. He'll be happy with that. An invalidation for Jax, so his session is over. Same with Ford, so he'll be starting from the back of the field. GeForce Ford, after not setting a lap time. Spicy making his way through the high-speed S's. Turn 8, 9, into turns 10 and 11. Oh, right on the edge there. Very good stuff. Good bits of driving, up by 8 thousandths of a second. Leo, he's up by quite a bit in the first sector. Might be out to challenge for pole. Keep our eyes on Spicy. 2 corners left, gets through turn 16, sideways! And that's it, lap over. Any time he found in the final sector, it's all gone. Up by a little bit is BPV8. As Jax is disqualified from the session and BP goes to pole position with a 14.298. Can Leo snag that away? No, he's invalidated his final lap time. So it's BP in the halves, starting on pole. We'll have Spicy and Plevs lining up in P2 and P3. Very nice day for McLaren. Leo is 4th. With Jamie in P5, he'd be happy with that. Bags in P6. Will in 7th. Scotty in 8th. Macedonian in 9th. Then we got Wogboy rounding out the top 10. Isaac Cushion, GeForce Ford, didn't set any lap times. Isaac serving a qualifying ban, of course. And Ford just couldn't string a lap together. Jax got disqualified for parking in a dangerous location, according to the game. So he'll start from last place. There you go. Hello, Alex. Yeah, 13 people isn't great, but, you know, Melbourne Cup Day, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Jack's getting disqualified starting from the back. He will get a free choice of tyre. So, see how it fares for him. It'll be interesting to see what these three drivers do. They're three very quick drivers. Will they start on the soft tyre? Will they start on the mediums? Wogboy will definitely start on the mediums there in P10. BP, he'd be happy with that, I'm sure. 21 one-thousandths of a second separating P1 and 2 at the end. Less than a tenth separating the top three. Now it's time for the race itself. As Mr. Ford said at the beginning of qualifying, it should be a full dry race. We shouldn't see any wet weather. Hopefully. Yeah, clear-ish. Yeah, clear-ish skies. Got streaks of cloud cover here and there. It's funny how you find spectators waving the European flag. I'm pretty certain not a single person who follows Formula One would bring a European flag to a race to wave about. I don't think a single person would do that. In fact, how are all of these flags not just Mexican flags? Like, Mexicans are very, very passionate about their motor racing. Of course, all of them being big fans of Sergio Perez, their home hero. Come in their droves to see him. Be quite the amazing sight if he won his home Grand Prix in Red Bull. Well, that Red Bull is quite capable of winning here in Mexico. They've done it on several occasions in the past. So, it'll be quite the sight to see if Perez won here at his home circuit. Quite right, Ferrari Pro. We got Singapore next week, so we got the longest race of the season coming up. That should be hopefully entertaining. Hopefully. It would either be incredibly dramatic or a complete bore fest. It's one or the other. So let's run through the grid order. We got BPV8 on pole position, followed by Spicy in P2, both drivers starting on the soft tyre. We got Plebs in P3 starting on the soft, same with Leo in P4. Jamie has spun out. He's in P5, starting on the soft tyre. Then we got Bags in P6, starting on the soft, same with Will in P7. Scotty in 8th, Macedonian in 9th, starting on the softs as well. Then we got Wogboy starting 10th on the mediums. We got Isaac Kush starting on fresh mediums, same with GeForce Ford, who has spun out there. Entertaining the virtual crowd, as it were. And Jack starting at the back of the field, starting on the mediums. Oh, great, a bot. Those are always great. Oh, well, it increases the comment count. Oh, well, I suppose, KD, you do expect some fans to wave the American flag about. Americans are very patriotic, love their country. So, that's not surprising. It's just a European flag. It's such a weird flag to see. Anyway, all 13 cars are lined up ready to race here in Mexico. We have 10 red lights, and it's lights out. And away we go here in Mexico City. BP has converted very well off the line. What a supreme start from the Haas driver. Down towards turn 1. This is one of the better camera shots. Look at that. All spread out. All 13 drivers trying to find a bit of racetrack to race on. As Plebs and Leo are doing exactly that through the opening chicane. Spicy wants to get involved. He's back up to third. Leo, he's got his teammate right behind, heading down towards turn 4. Into the 90-degree left-hander we go. Leo looking around the outside. He has the inside line for turn 5. They're side-by-side on the exit. Into the hairpin of 6. Leo tries to fight. He can't quite hang on. He stays in P4. The rest of the field has gotten through the opening sector relatively okay. Wogboy has dropped to the back of the field. He's down in 13th from P10. So not a great start from him. But everyone else has more or less stayed where they qualified. Looking at the order. Heading through the arena section where we'll see absolutely no racing whatsoever except on the opening lap with Isaac Kush and Macedonian scrapping it out. Macedonian, he's now right in front of Jax, who would probably like to get by as soon as possible. I'm sure Wogboy would like to do the same to try and make up as many positions as he can. Jax, he's looking down the inside at turn 1. He's got momentum. Should be able to complete the pass. Well, not quite. Macedonian fights. Through turn 2, then turn 3. Contact on the exit. Here comes Wogboy. And Macedonian drops to 13th. Into turn 4 we go. No more action between these three for now. There is the predicted tyre stop strategy. So pit window lap 10 to 12 for the soft runners. BP making his way out of the S's. He's got Plebs in hot pursuit, followed by Spicy. So the McLaren's looking good. And the field's still relatively bunched up, which is also really good to see. Turn 16 and 17, the final two corners on the circuit. Come out of there to begin another lap, lap 3 of 36. BP driving very well, but DRS is now enabled. It'll definitely spice things up, considering how close everybody is. Jamie giving Bags a bit of a hurry up. He's 3/10 behind. Through the chicane. Oh, very wide there. And I think Will was the same in the Haas. I think he was quite wide. Down towards turn 4. And he can't quite get close enough to attack. That will change, however, with DRS enabled. Drivers will be able to get that overspeed effect and just power past any driver who doesn't have DRS. Leaders making their way out of the S's. You can see there Spicy with DRS wide open. Closing in on BP as they head through the arena section. Around this tight hairpin through turns 14 and 15. Coming around the final corner, the gap now 3/4 of a second between P1 and P2. Jamie overtaking Bags quite easily there. Will might try and do the same. It's quite a long pit straight. Here comes Will in the Haas, showing the nose, not committing to the move. G-Force 4 gets by Scotty for P8. He's now got a clear track in front of him. Additionally, he'll have DRS here between turns 3 and 4. Here comes Izzat to overtake Scotty. Jax won't be able to do the same. He's a bit too far back. But yeah. Now one may wonder why there isn't a DRS detection zone between the first DRS zone and the second. Well, that's harping back to the lack of air around the circuit. In real life, DRS wouldn't be incredibly powerful due to the lack of air. But in this game, it doesn't simulate that. So DRS here is incredible. It is amazing how powerful it is and how effective it can be. Got one incredibly long DRS zone on the pit straight. You've got another fairly long DRS zone between turns 3 and 4. So the driver behind has a colossal advantage. We're going to see that here. Here comes Plebs. He'll get him well before turn 1. He'll go back onto the racing line. There you go. He'll get through the chicane. Now BP has to put up with the dirty air. He's leaving all that dirty air coming off the McLaren. Then out to turn 3 towards turn 4. Look at that gap. It increases to almost over half a second. And Spicy having a look down the inside. Oh, and pushes BP wide. BP fights though. He fights back, pushing the McLaren back. And here comes Leo down the inside of the hairpin to take P2 away from both of them. A great bit of racecraft from Leo. A great bit of awareness as well. Spicy and BP are scrapping through the S's. This is not a place you want to be scrapping, fellas. Neither driver wanted to yield there, but Spicy somehow gets in front, and we didn't have a single accident from that. How did we not have an accident? We should have had an accident, but we didn't. Oh, Jamie bagged side by side through the hairpin. Here comes Will to get involved. Exiting the arena now. Drivers in a tight train and spinning is Jamie. He is spun. He's facing backwards. He's facing the right way now. There's Macedonian. He's lost time. Spicy gets by Leo down the pit straight, and I think BP's going to do the same. Will has gotten by Wags before turn 1. I'm sure Ford would like a piece of the action. Try and get by himself. Oh, that's tight. Leo half defending there at turn 1, just didn't want to let BP back through. Look at this. Very tight stuff here. Jack's overtaking Scotty. That was for P9. Very tight racing on the opening laps here in Mexico City. Yeah, that bot is very interesting. My goodness. Down towards turn 12. It increases the comment count, at the very least. I don't think we'll hit the heights of what we reached at Hungary. Reaching over 200 comments. It was really good to see that the chat was talking aplenty. Here comes BP, sitting right in the slipstream of Leo. Where will he look? Does he dart to the inside? No, he stays behind. I thought he would go for a move, but he went against it. Spicy is closing in on his teammate as well. The gap used to be 1.8 seconds. It's now just over 1 second. But the McLaren duo looking very, very good. Sure they would like to continue their form. Macedonian a 3-second time penalty. He exited turn 3, so I hazard a guess he just ran wide on corner exit and again gave him a penalty. Through the high speed S's, which are an absolute nightmare for anyone on a pad. These corners are not nice. Running wide there, BP, that was probably a warning. And Jamie, a 3-second time penalty. I believe that's his second penalty for the night. Actually, it's his third penalty, so not great for Jamie. I don't blame him, though. It's a really tough track to manage penalties. Very easy to get them. Down the pit straight we go. It should be a simple move. BP is running low on battery, though. He's got about 12% at his disposal. Compare that with Leo. He doesn't have much more. Yeah, 17%. So both of these guys have really spent their battery life early in this race. They don't have a lot in reserve. Drivers, I think, are settling down here in the midfield, realizing it's a long, long race ahead. No need to spend up too many resources just yet. And now Spicy is within a second of his teammate. So we might see a change in position between teammates. Through the S's. Sitting in the dirty air, it's never great. Especially through a high-speed S section like the one here in Mexico City. Through the arena section. Through this incredibly tight and useless hairpin. It's my least favorite part of almost any racetrack on the Formula One calendar, because it doesn't provide anything in terms of racing. It's just a dog leg that slows the cars down and allow the cameras to get good camera shots of the sponsors on the Formula 1 cars. Could have been really, really cool, that arena section, but unfortunately it just isn't. Spicy closing in, not by enough to overtake his teammate. Oh, some action going on here. Will and Ford side by side around turn 4. More contact. More contact. Isaac gets involved. Will is wide. Around the hairpin they go. Will is wide again. Gets back onto the racetrack. Wold Boy gets 3 seconds worth of time penalties for multiple warnings. Through the S section. Those soft tyres steadily getting more worn out. The medium tyres coming into their own. So Ford and Izzat making their way up through the field. Jax is trying to do the same. He's down in P9. But he's within striking distance of Bags Liddell in P8. And here comes Izzat. In fact, he's got him already. Ah, I see. Bags is in the pits. He's in the pits. A new set of tyres. Same with Jamie. And there goes Izzat into 5th place. And Leo has done a similar move on BP. He's into 3rd. BP won't be able to counter-attack. He doesn't have DRS at his disposal. But what he needs to do is stay within range of Leo. Try and pass back on the next lap. Spicy hasn't made any inroads to overtake his teammate. He's just stayed behind. 2 teammates working together to try and pull away from the rest of the field. BP doing a great job through the S's to keep up with the Williams. Isaac gets a 3-second time penalty. I believe that's his first? Second penalty. Exiting the arena section. Around the final 2 corners. As, oh, they both come into the pits. And Leo went in quite late. Very late. Plev's in the pits. Set of mediums going on his car. A nice little spectator glitch there that still exists in the game. So medium tyres on Plev's car. Soft tyres on Leo's. Medium tyres on BP's. He's right behind Leo. But Will with a front wing change and fresh tyres. Soft tyres going on the car. Scotty, he's on fresh mediums. Ford and Izzat. Very close between these two. Now, what may also be an option is the one stop. Doing a medium hard race, but the hards aren't particularly great around here. In fairness, neither are the mediums, but the soft tyre is incredibly rapid around this circuit. It's definitely the tyre to use around Mexico, which is why you'll see drivers favour a 2-stop, because it's just that much quicker. Be very interesting to see what these two do, what Jax do, what Wogboy do in terms of strategy. Whether they risk it with the 1-stop, or they do what everybody else is doing and do a 2-stop. Through the opening chicane. Is Ford close enough to attack? Back up through the gears. No, he's definitely not close enough to attack into turn 4. Stay in P3 for now. There's Jax. He's 3 seconds behind in closing. And Jamie's overtaking Scotty. That's down the pit straight. Fairly simple move there. Will has done a similar thing to Macedonian, overtaking the AlphaTauri driver for P12. And with the limited field size, it means everybody will score points. So there is a reward for getting to the end. Jamie a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Spicy into the pits, doing a 1-lap overcut. Compared to his rivals, how much will he gain? How much will he lose? He was behind his teammate Plebs when he went in to make his stop. I think he'll be still behind Plebs. Will he be behind anybody else though? Yes, is the answer. He'll be behind Leo and potentially BP. He is behind BP. Turn 1 we go. So Spicy now down in 8th place. That is provisional P4. He was in 2nd before the stops. So that overcut has hurt him. But now he has a slight advantage in tyre life. It's not a massive advantage, but it is an advantage nonetheless. A bit wide there from BP. Potentially could have been a warning. Just knowing what the game's like. Leo, a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings. Penalties are plenty here in Mexico. Ford potentially getting ready. Oh, hang on. No, stops. We got pit stops. So I reckon these fellas might be pitting onto soft tyres. Let's find out. Yes, it's soft tyres for both cars. So these fellas are going to be doing 12-lap stints or so. So 2 12-lap, 11-lap stints to go to the end. Wogboy has fitted hard tyres. It's a gamble, but he can go to the end of the race on those. He is the first driver who could theoretically make it to the end. Jamie getting swamped here. Overtaken by 2 cars into turn 1. Poor fella. That's what happens when you don't have DRS. Whoa! Sideways on the exit as well. Jamie putting the throttle down as early as he could. Will he go for... Oh, he thought about it. He definitely thought about going for a move. But he thought wisely of it and stayed behind. Can't win a race from here. You can definitely lose it though. We're not even at the halfway mark yet. Still got a long way to go. And Jamie's just given himself another 3-second time penalty. What's that? Make his tally. 15 seconds. Yeah, not great. Oh, hello, Will. Down the inside. Cheeky move. Oh, and Jamie has spun out big time at turn 12. Amazingly, the virtual crowd don't react at all to it. If this was in real life, they would have went ballistic. But Jamie, a massive tank slapper, exiting turn 12, managed to not hit anything to his credit. But he's down in 12th place, behind Wogboy. Got a bit of work to do. Ford overtaking Isaac Kush for P5. Bags trying to keep up with Jax as best he can. As Jax on soft tyres, Bags is on a set of mediums. BP a penalty in P3. I think that's now 9 seconds worth of pens. 12 seconds. Oh, dearie me. That's not great at all. Leo has closed onto the back of race leader Plebs. Gap is half a second as Jamie gets another penalty. Oh, dearie me. Please tell me we won't see a disqualification here. Because we might at this rate. We're not even at the halfway mark. Ford sets fastest lap, showing rather the raw pace of the soft tyre. And here comes Leo. Plebs goes defensive, tries to force the issue down the inside, but he just doesn't have the speed that Leo has on the soft tyre. He really can't fight it. Plebs did all he could, but in the end, you sort of have to give in. And Leo takes the lead. Lovely aerial shot here, looking over the circuit. See the many, many spectator stands. Through the S's. Through turns 10 and 11. Keeping it within the white lines there, 40, doing a good job. Trying to close the gap to Spicy ahead. Plebsy still within a second of Leo. He might be able to retake the lead if he can get the final corner exit right. He has. He's closing in. He's running very low on battery though. He has 4%, 3% left in his car. And what's Leo going to do here? Defend the inside line. They're side by side into turn 1. It's tight. Through turn 2. Oh, and that's a big slide there from Leo. He was very sideways there. Plebs will get DRS to pull away from Leo. And here comes BP. He's forcing the issue down the inside. Into turn 4 we go. Side by side through the corner. Leo has the inside line. BP forced a bit wide, but that's okay. Around the hairpin. Side by side on the exit. BP has to get the drive. Can't get it. He slots in behind Leo and stays in P3. With this battle, Spicy is at GeForce Ford. They're closing in. In fact, everyone from P1 down to P6, they're within 1 second of the car in front. We're at, actually, next lap will be the halfway mark. So the fact that we're at this stage of the race and the lead, rather the battle for the lead is still so close, it really is quite a miracle. Hopefully this battle can keep going all the way to the end. This would be very fascinating to watch as Leo, round the outside, really sends it this time and gets it done with ease. Through turns 2 and 3. Spicy, a 3-second time penalty, and here comes BP. With the power of DRS, he gets the overspeed. He's on the racing line. He needs to be committed. He is. And Plebs tries to fight it, but he can't. Goes to P3. Isaac Kush is now right behind on fresh, soft compound tyres. He and GeForce Ford are in a really good position as they go through the S's for the 18th time. Through turns 10 and 11. Plebs losing a bit of ground because of the dirty air. Isaac closing in, not by enough to attack into turn 12 though. Into the hairpin in the arena section. Oh, it's side by side between Ford and Spicy. Ford into P5. Here comes Isaac. On those fresh tyres, he has DRS and he's closing in. So is BP. Down the inside, a simple move. Well, it should be anyway. It's a drag race, it seems like, down to turn 1. No, BP gets it done. Isaac gets it done as well. He's into P3. Through the opening chicane we go. Down towards turn 4. Here comes Isaac. Superb drive out to turn 3. Down towards turn 4. Oh, tries to force the issue. They go through side by side. Isaac comes out on top. He's into P2. Is that just cutting his way through the top 5, top 6 I should say. Through turns 10 and 11. Gap is half a second. That has DRS to close in, and here comes Ford. Looking down the inside of Plebs. Plebs hangs on. Around the hairpin. Force tries to force the issue. The 40 stays behind for now. Exiting the final corner comes the top 6. Down the pit straight we go. 40 would like to get by. Isaac gets by with ease. In fact, he's waving to BP. You saw that there with his DRS flap. Waving to BP as he gets by. These two aren't waving though. They're locked in battle exiting the chicane. see the rear lights flashing there, both cars low on battery. So a lot of the cars in the train have spent up their resources in this incredible battle. My goodness. Let's have a look here. Look at the telemetry. So 21% for Izzat. Similar story for BP. 36% for Leo. 14% for GeForce Ford. 14% for Plebs. 14% for Spicy. So in terms of battery life, the best driver at the moment is Leo in P3. That one. As Jamie's been disqualified. Jamie's been disqualified for driving the wrong way. There's his car there. Parked up. And that's it. Now, was it for driving the wrong way? I'll have to double check that. I didn't read that properly. Leo and Ford side by side through turn 1. Around the outside of turn 2. Gets it done. Down towards turn 4 we go. Plebs trying to look for the overtake. Can't really go for it just yet. Multiple warnings, yeah. I wasn't too sure, so yeah, Jamie accumulating too many warnings then and getting disqualified from the session. I mean, by the halfway stage, he already had 18 seconds worth of penalties, so Jamie wasn't having a great time out there with track limits. And unfortunately, the inevitable caught up with him. A lot earlier than what I anticipated though. Lap 21 of 36. We've got a lot of racing to get through. Plebs, no, Spicy? No, Leo. I thought it was a McLaren going into the pits. No, it's a Williams. So Leo into the pits. He's going onto the medium tyre and he's going to get an undercut. So what Leo needs to do, get his head down, set some quick laps, try and regain some track position, then defend like crazy for the rest of the race. Because he'll be at a tyre disadvantage towards the end. He's in clear air, which is a massive bonus. He doesn't have to fight with anybody. Speaking of which, Wogboy down the inside of Scotty. He's into P10. Wogboy running low on battery as well. Jamie has left the session. By the way, Leo is in front of Wogboy, who's set to go to the end. So Wogboy hasn't been able to put himself into a position where he could win the race. Yeah, considering where Leo is on the circuit, all the other cars should come out in relatively the same place because of how bunched up everybody was. Jax has joined the party as well. He's on the tail of the train and closing in. What's his battery life look like? Not great, down on 12%. So a lot of drivers spending a lot of resources to try and battle for position. Bags has overtaken Will because Will is in the pits. Probably going to put on the medium tyre and go to the end. Round turn 4. Come P4, 5 and 6. And around the hairpin of turn 6, down towards the S's. BP a 3-second time penalty. Oh my goodness. He too would have a lot of penalties as Jax is closing in. Not by enough to attack at turn 12. Through the arena section. Exiting the arena. And in comes Spicy and Jax into the pits. So Jax will be pitting on to the soft tyre. Oh, and Izzat is in as well. There he is there. Soft tyres at the ready. On they go. Away they leave. Spicy's been held. Has he? No. Pit lane glitch. Of course it is. Here comes Leo. He's behind Izzat, but in front of Spicy and Jax. His teammate Bags. Big send from Leo. Goes very deep. Pulls it up very nicely though. Now Izzat's got clear air. Needs to put the hammer down. Spicy and Jax on fresh tyres. Soft compound as well. They're going to be flying. We've got two Williams F1 cars right in front of them. They would like to get by as soon as possible. And that's something Izzat really doesn't need to do. A 3-second time penalty. Increases his tally to 12 seconds. This is going to be about the penalties. To be honest with you, who has the least amount of penalties at the end of the race? It will become even more apparent if we see a safety car. Plebs leaving the pits. So is Ford. Izzat will take them both with relative ease. Here comes Ford out of the pits. Where's Leo? There he is. Is he going to get by the Aston Martin driver? There he goes. How long will Leo stay there? Spicy. He has Jax right on his wing. Bags is just there in P7 as well, watching on, probably with a bag of popcorn. Down towards turn 7. Ford's got to run, looking around the outside of turn 4. If he can stay there, he'll have the inside line for turn 5, which is exactly what he's done. He's into P3. He's got no penalties as well. He needs to get his head down, try and close the gap, but also remain focused and not get a penalty. If he doesn't get a penalty, he will be at a great advantage towards the end of the race. Towards the arena section as BP pits in for his final stop. Probably pit onto the soft tyre and go to the end. See here, Spicy giving Leo a really hard time here. Using a lot of battery. There's not much Leo can do here. Though he is outpacing the McLaren. Into turn 1. Leo's going to put up a fight here. Oh, that's tight. Through turn 2, contact. Through turn 3. Oh, they get through. A bit of a wiggle there from Leo. Here's Jax. He wants to get involved. Ferrari driver goes a bit onto the grass as he's looking down the inside. It's 3 wide into turn 4. Through they go into turn 5. Leo has to back out and Jax is through into 3rd. Spicy and Leo still side by side. They eventually get it sorted out and Spicy moves into 4th place. Now BP wants a piece of the action, looking round the outside. They're side by side through turn 8 into turn 9. Leo maintains 5th place, only just so. And amazingly, no accident. Down towards turn 12. Typically when you see drivers go side by side through there, it usually results in an accident. Not tonight though. These drivers, they're committed. But they're showing a lot of talent. Driving side by side like that and not crashing. Really good stuff. Down the pit straight. All 3 cars had DRS in this small train. Hello, close. He's looking down the inside. Into turn 1 we go. Commits to it 2. Contact between them. Into turn 2. Oh, and more contact. And somehow BP saves it. He should have spun with that sort of contact. Somehow, the car had enough grip to not spin. And he's still within a second. He's still very, very much in this fight. Down towards the S's. BP trying to close in. Plebs trying to follow. Leo doing his best on the medium tyre. We've got Spicy in P4 trying to keep up with Jax, who in turn is trying to close the gap to Ford. Trying to close that gap to what could be a potential win, considering he has no penalties as well. Same story with Plevs, but he's stuck in a bit of a sandwich at the moment. Bread slices being Leo and BPV8. See if he can break away now. The answer, probably not, as Leo has DRS. And that Williams has got some serious straight line speed. Plebs can't go for it just yet, not close enough. What's Spicy going to do here? He's close. Not using any battery. And I don't think he'll go for a move either. No, he won't. He'll just let Jax do all the heavy lifting. As Plevs is overtaken by Plevs overtakes BP. Oh, and running wide is Leo. My goodness, BP a penalty. Contact and spinning is BP. He does his best, but again, similar contact at turn 2. This time at turn 6. Works out to be a lot worse for BP this time around. I'm sure he's frustrated from that. I'm sure he was hoping for a bit more room given, but unfortunately not. He's down 3.6 seconds behind Plebs now. And Plebs, he's now on the back of Leo. He should get by relatively easily. Now into P5. Oh, Leo follows him. Bit of a weave there just to try and break the toe. Try and hang on to this P5 and close the gap to the cars in front. Leo gets another penalty in P6. In his sort of position, the best he can do is just damage limitation. He's at a disadvantage in regards to the tyre. Just needs to drive as best as he can without getting any penalties. Out in front, Kush still leading the way. Gap of 2.5 seconds. It's been like that for some time. But Izzat has got a mountain's worth of penalties. 12 seconds next to their name. Not quite as big as the amount of penalties that BP has, though, with 24 seconds. Holy moly, that's a lot of penalties. Spicy has 3 next to his name. Leo has 12. Logboy has 3. Will has 6. And here comes Spicy for 3rd place. Overtakes the Ferrari driver onto the podium, but that penalty will set him back. Plevs closing in. Will overtaking Wogboy. That is for P8. Wogboy on the hard tyre just doesn't have the speed. He will score points. And I think with the laps remaining, he should be able to finish in 9th. Potentially P8 if he can stay within 3 seconds of Will. Jack's now following Spicy through the S's, eating up all that dirty air. Doing well though, staying within a second. Ford might be a bit too far away for the likes of Jax and Plevs. So they might have to scrap it out for 2nd place if they do get close on the racetrack. Down towards turn 1. Ferrari closing in. Oh, a late defensive move there from Spicy as they go side by side through turn 1. Into turn 2, they're still side by side. Through turn 3, a lot of respect being shown there. There was room given. And here comes Plevs on the attack. Closing in onto the back of this. Jack's looking down the inside. Plevs sticking on the racing line, same with Spicy. Spicy has the inside line for turn 6. They're side by side on the exit heading towards the hairpin. Get through. Oh, a bit of a shove there. Aerial shot looking over the circuit. Three drivers all closely bunched up. Plevs is now right on the back of Jax here. Spicy has done him a massive favour. Through turn 12. Plevs right on the Ferrari's gearbox. Gap has increased, by the way, between Ford and Spicy. It's now 4.9 seconds. So this battle between those two drivers on screen looks like it's going to be the battle for second. Down towards turn 1. Jax going to overtake Spicy here. Simple move. Through the chicane. See the flashing light at the back of Spicy's car. Running low on battery. Jack's now pulling away. Spicy lets his teammate through to allow Plevs to try and battle Jax for P2. Down towards the S as we go. Gap has increased to 1 second. Plevs needs to get within 1 second. Exiting the S's, he's low on battery. So is Jax. Both drivers really spending up their resources. When they cross the line, it'll be 4 laps to go. Around turn 16 and 17. Does Plevs have DRS? He's outside of 1 second here, but the DRS detection zone is at turn 15. But he doesn't have it. He doesn't have DRS and he doesn't have any battery left. Neither does Jax. They've spent absolutely everything as Isaac gets another 3-second time penalty. Can Spicy do anything? He's got a little bit of battery, not a lot. I think he'll just let Plebs get on with it. Try and close that gap. Really not much Spicy can do as a teammate to try and help out Plebs in this sort of situation, other than just stay behind and let him get on with it. 40 has caught up to Izzat as well. Gap of 1.4 seconds. Now Ford's pretty much got this race in hand, but I'm sure he would love to win it on track, not just through penalties. And I'm sure Izzat's thinking the same thing. He would like to finish first on track regardless of the penalties. Show that he was the quickest driver here tonight. With 3 laps to go, gap of 1.4 seconds. Can Ford close that gap? He's got a healthy margin to P3, which is Jax. A gap of 4.8 seconds. So we needn't worry about him. Can just get his head down. Oh, and Plebs gets a penalty, which means he and Spicy can battle it out for the podium. If they really wanted to. I wonder what Spicy is thinking. Do I let Plebs stay there or do I scrap it out? Be interesting to see what happens. But this has ruined Plebs' chance of trying to get second away from Jax. Unless Jax gets a penalty, he's more or less secured second place at this stage. Gap of now 1.1 seconds as they come around the final 2 turns. They begin lap 35 of 36 here in Mexico City. Ford doing all he can to close the gap. Leo's overtaken Spicy as well. Spicy into the pits. BP a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit. Oh! Complete wing damage. Hang on a minute. He's got complete wing damage. Righto. Macedonian a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Righto, so Spicy made a mistake. Well, that answers that question about him fighting for the podium. He's definitely not going to do it now. In fact, this is at the massive detriment to McLaren because they were looking at a really big points haul, which would have been really nice for their Constructors' Championship, as Ford gets a 3-second time penalty. Fortunately, the gap between him and Jax is big enough, so he needn't worry. He's within a second of Izzat. They come around the final 2 corners. This will be the final 4.3 kilometers of this Mexican Grand Prix. It's lap 36 of 36. See the DRS wide open as Ford closes the gap. Will he actually go for it? As Plebs overtakes Jax for P3. Imagine if he didn't have the penalty. Just imagine. Unless Jax gets one in this final lap, Ferrari driver is pretty much set for P2. Half a second between Izzat and Ford. What a final lap battle this might have been if the penalty scenario weren't as severe as this. Izzat with 15 seconds, Ford with 3. Ford's basically got the win in hand, but does he want it on track as well? He's closing in on Izzat towards the arena section. Doesn't go for an almighty dive bomb as Leo cops a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits, and a big send on the final lap from Ford. They're side by side through the arena section. Izzat has the inside line but can't quite hang on. It's a drag race up to the line, and Ford wins it on track as well as through the penalties. How about that? If only the penalty scenario wasn't a thing. Oh, if only. Jax will come home in P2. Plebs comes home in P3, completing the podium. Izzat Kush, 4th place. Leo has a 10-second time penalty after making some sort of mistake. But he'll finish P5. Then it'll be Will. He'll jump up because of that 10-second time penalty Leo had. Banks will overtake his teammate too. Wogboy will overtake Leo too. So Wogboy will finish in 7th place. Spicy in 8th. Scotty 9th. And Leo will round out the top 10 provisionally. We've got BP in P11 and Macedonian rounding out the finishers in 12th. He'd just be happy that he got to the end. Of course, a nice little bundle of points. As I said earlier, field size doesn't dictate race quality, and I think this demonstrated it quite perfectly. We had a fantastic race. A lot of tight battles. Fantastic strategy game as well taking place. And at the end, GeForce Ford claims his first win of the season. Jax gets another podium. And Plebs, I think this will be podium number 2, I think, for the Tuesday series. But no, that was certainly quite enjoyable for a race that only had 13 cars. And there we are. From P12 to 1st, after not setting a single lap time in qualifying, GeForce Ford ends up winning the Mexican Grand Prix. Jax comes home in 2nd, with Plebs completing the podium in 3rd. Izzat Kush in 4th, Will in 5th, Bags in 6th, Wogboy 7th, Spicy in 8th, Scotty in 9th, and Leo rounds out the top 10. BPV8 and Macedonian are our 2 other finishers, and Jamie disqualified from the race after accumulating too many penalties. There we are. Not bad at all. And this is podium number 2 for Plebs. I was certain of that. Right. That was quite nice. Nice little race there. Not a single safety car, or virtual safety car. And we still had a very tense finish and a very tense battle through the mid stages of the race. It's just incredibly unfortunate that a track like this just leads to so many penalties. It's quite unfortunate that that's the case, but still, even with the penalties, it was a very interesting race to watch. Now, I'll be back in just a moment. I'll invite the top three. We can have a nice little chat about what happened here in Mexico, so I'll be back in just a moment. Add players. Ford. Jax. Players. Evening, you two. Not a bad race from you two. I imagine.
Well, but now you can.
So your audio is okay in terms of the share?
Yeah, it should be.
I know players should be.
Check the stream. I haven't done it on my PS5 yet, so...
Yeah, on PS5 it's a bit different, as I found out a little while back. Jax is joining us as well.
Good.
Okay, that's good. Hello, Jax.
Hello.
How are you?
Pretty good.
That's a lie. Fair enough, I suppose. But thank you three for joining me here to answer a few questions of mine. We'll make our way up from P3 up to first place. So we'll start with you, Plebs, your second podium of the season. Led a few laps early on. In the end, you got shuffled back quite a bit with that tight battle between the top six. But in the end, coming home in third, no penalties next to your name as well. With drivers.
I had one.
Oh, that's right, you did have one. You had 3 seconds.
Out of Jax, I had 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. Now I remember. Jax was the one who didn't have any penalties. That's right. Yeah, you must have been a bit gutted with that. With the 3 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go back and look at the footage of my warnings. I know I got one turn 2 on lap 1. I'm not sure what happened there. I'll have to look and see if it was...
Yeah.
I checked your warnings.
If there was space. But yeah, anyway, not gonna say that. But I'll cop the penalty for now. But yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed with third, to be honest. I was hoping for a bit better. Especially after leading the race early and pretty much controlling it. I had and my teammate behind as well. So yeah, he had a bit of a tyre delta on me because the last qualifying run takes a lot out of the soft tyres. He had like 5% less wear than me.
Right.
But yeah, we had pretty similar pace and I boxed first and undercut him and he lost some positions. And I think it's just that middle stint where when you're on the mediums and the other guys are on the softs that you really lose ground and that ultimate strategy becomes OP like Bailey, Jackson, Isaac Kush all started on the mediums and went soft after that and it's just so powerful, especially with fresh tyres and there was a lot of battling and of course that slows you down and cost me time as well. But yeah, still happy with the podium. But yeah, I think it could have been better if things went my way a bit more. But yeah, GG to Bailey who had an excellent race, and the other guys are just too quick in the middle stint. Not much you can do when you're on the mediums. Like to show how powerful it is. Like Leo went soft medium, and he was nowhere at the end.
At the end,
because the softs are so powerful at the end. So yeah. I'll take the podium.
But yeah, it seems like maximising that medium stint is really, really important here in Mexico.
Yeah,
and getting it out of the way early and having a lighter car midway through and towards the end on the soft tyre can really help you out. But no, you fought well in that battle in the top six. Had a few run-ins with BP though. You two made some contact that I saw.
Yeah, I just don't know well what I'm meant to do there. Like I'm in the tow behind Leo. We both got DRS, and like he's tried to go around me. And it's like there's contact from behind, and then I went into Leo. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it just like that kind of thing just slows you down and is a bit frustrating to be honest. Like just need to go with the train sometimes, even if you got overspeed. It's usually quicker. Than going side by side through a couple of corners. So yeah.
But yeah, it sounds like you're not incredibly happy with the third place. But you know, chin up.
I would have been happier without that penalty and getting second. I think I would have been content then. But yeah. Anyway, finished third on track. So.
That's the nature of the penalties, though. They can be incredibly damaging, and they're rarely easy to get here in Mexico as well. Especially if you make a mistake through the S's or something like that. So easy to get one. No, congrats on the podium finish here, man. Second of the season. Hopefully we'll see you a few more times in the remaining races. But congratulations on your third place.
Cheers, Meg.
Mr. Jax, P2 finish for you from 13th. You got disqualified from qualifying. What was that about?
I invalidated my lap, and I was just going into the pits, and then my wheel and pedals just turned off, and it's the first time I've had an issue with this, so I'm kind of new to the Fanatec issues, and yeah, so I was trying to go, and my brake was my accelerator, and my accelerator was my brake, and I had to turn it on and off in the formation lap a couple of times, and it started working again, but yeah, it was a bit weird. Quali was a bit weird just because of the amount of people we had tonight, just there was like no one on track. Yeah, so quality was a bit weird.
But the race went a lot better. Obviously, coming back from 13th, you clawed your way all the way back up to second place at the end. How was it for you during the race?
Obviously, yeah, it was pretty good. Obviously, at the start, my mediums weren't turned on like Bailey's were. I was getting stuck behind cars and stuff, and the DRS is just very powerful at this track. So if you don't have DRS, you're just not going to catch up really. It was a pretty boring race because I was kind of alone for a lot of the race until the end of second stint and last stint. And then I had Ples and Spicy behind me, and I was like just the two McLarens, so they're going to work together. So I tried my best to get past Spicy as quick as I can. And then I just saw Plebs had the 3 seconds, so I was like, I just might as well just save some energy, and I had 2 warnings, so I didn't want to push myself more and get a penalty and lose position. So I just kind of let Plebs pass, let Plebs pass, and just stay behind him and get P2. Izzat had, I don't know, like 15 seconds or something.
He had a lot at the end, Didn't have the most though. That went to BP. He had like 29 seconds by the end of it.
Jamie had about 30.
Yeah, he got disqualified. I thought he drove backwards. I saw the disqualification thing come up, and I didn't read it properly. So I thought he drove backwards or something, but no, I think it was ACW. Told me in the chat he got it through accumulating penalties. But
yeah, I just didn't have the pace that Bailey and Izzat had in the alternate strategy. I'll take P2, especially with... It was very weird just because with Crichton, Spilly, and just with less people, so the race was just less busy, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And some points to gain on Spilly, I guess, for P2. But yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, you'll close the gap by quite a bit between yourself and Spilly. You were 33 points, I think, separated before this round. They'll close up by quite a bit afterwards.
P2's like 20 points, I think.
It's 26 or something. I think the winner gets 30, second gets 26 or 27, something like that. So you'll close up by quite a bit. So no, that sort of ignites a little fight between you two with the remaining rounds in the championship. That hopefully will be interesting to see how it all unfolds. But no, coming back from 13th, coming home to finish in second place. That's a very nice drive from you to make up that many places all the way through. Especially, as you mentioned, with the DRS nature of the circuit. If you get stuck in the midfield and you don't have DRS, it's very difficult to claw your way back. And
it's just the DRS train at the front was just...
and they just keep pulling away.
It took me about took me about 10 laps to catch up, and I was on the softs compared to them on the mediums.
Yeah, no, it's always quite frustrating when you know you got the pace, but you don't have DRS, so you can't catch up. But no, congratulations, and also having it's always nerve-wracking when you have 2 warnings. It's always nerve-wracking because you know the slightest mistake you do, and it's 3 seconds, and you go, oh goodness sake, now I have to deal with this. So credit to you, got no penalties, came home in second. So congratulations on your P2 finish.
Thank you, GG, Plebs and Bailey.
GG.
Thanks, mate.
Speaking of Bailey, hello, Mr. Ford.
Hello. It's been
About
a while.
time.
Yeah, it's much later than I wanted, but
At Mexico.
here.
How about
we're
that?
here,
How do you
yeah.
how do you fare with Mexico? One of your favourites? One of your meh tracks? Or?
I don't mind it. It's surprising because I'm usually one for a high penalty count, and this track, you get high penalties. But
Yeah.
Today I kept him pretty low. I feel like I probably would have got none if I wasn't chasing down Izzat. But I wanted to win on track. I wasn't taking P2
I figured that.
yeah, so I used my last warning, just banked on it and got DRS, and that's the way I caught up to him. So I've won at Mexico before in Pacific, so I don't know, maybe it's a nice little track for me.
But you started from the back as well. But you started from the back for a completely different reason. See, with Jack, so you got disqualified. You couldn't put a lap together.
I wanted to. So when you load into quali, you get 3 sets of softs, and obviously the strategy is soft, medium, soft, or whatever way you want to put that. And so I only wanted to use 2 sets of soft tires to keep one fresh for the race.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So I've gone out on both those tires, and the first run I invalidated, went back in the pits, and I actually forgot to change tires for my second run.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I still tried to get the lap in. It's not like I purposely invalidated that final run. I actually tried to get it in, but I messed up again. So as I said, maybe it was that blessing in disguise that I needed, because the alternate strategy was so quick around here, and he gave me the opportunity to catch up.
Yeah, I think as we mentioned earlier when talking to players, that if you maximise that medium stint as best you can, then you tend to be better off during the race, especially if you can get it out of the way early. And again, as Plevs touched on, as soon as Leo went on to the mediums at the end, he dropped like a stone. So But how was it making your way through the field? How was the race for you?
Yeah, it started off, I kind of just tried to sit as close as I could to the guys in softs for probably the first 8 or so laps. Obviously the tyres were going to be better than mine then. And then I tried to get past them as quick as I could from there. And the gap when I pitted on the first stint compared to the other guys like Matt and Seb was probably about 5.5 seconds. So I definitely knew going onto the soft tyres that I could catch the gap up quite easily, and myself and Izzat did that quite easily. We pulled probably about a second a lap, and before we knew it, we were kind of on that DRS. So it was a matter of just Izzat got through really easily. I had a bit more of a tough time than him getting through, but I just didn't want to get wing damage. I knew he had so many penalties. If I just kept my race clean myself, I'd be fine to pretty much just sit where I was, and if worse comes worse, just win off penalties. But still, as I said, I don't really like doing that. So
went for it.
Yeah, that's it. Went for it. Just banked on that warning, got through, got the DRS on the final lap, and used that to my advantage. So it was a good win to get because I got exams for the next 2 weeks for school. So I'm missing the next 2, so it's good to finally get one before I went off for a little bit. But
well, that's good and
important.
Sad to hear, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it's only 2
good
weeks,
on you. You got it before the exams. The exams, so you won't be here. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to mention, how do you think your run of form will look like next week? I can scrap that question.
That's the problem. Singapore and Baku, they're 2 probably of my best tracks in this game. On previous games anyway, I've won at those tracks multiple times. So it definitely hurts to miss them, but I guess what do you do? At least I got the win here. That's kind of it made up for it. I'm pretty happy. So. Yeah.
And I think, with your points haul, I think Aston Martin take the lead in the constructors.
Yeah, no Mercedes here, so
No, and with a
definitely helps.
full complement, did you score fastest lap?
I did as well, yeah.
So
I
31
got
points.
very lucky. I had DRS from Izat the whole straight, and then got him on the second DRS straight, and probably would have got like a second on there alone, and then the rest of the lap was really tidy as well. So yeah, full points haul. It's nice.
That will mean Aston Martin will lead Mercedes by 7 points heading into Singapore. So that really spices up the team's championship. All credit to you, Mr. Ford. But
thank you. It's up to Spilly for a couple of weeks now.
well, he's on good form of late. We'll see if this break will shatter that form. Actually, no, he's got exams, don't he?
He's back now next
He's
week.
back.
So when he misses 2 weeks, I was here, and now I'm missing 2 weeks. Now he's back, so we kind of just swap it over, I guess.
Fair enough, I suppose. But
yeah.
no.
Glad to be back, Smeg. It's been too long.
It has been a little while, but no, it's good to see you back. Good to hear you back. But, congratulations coming back from 12th to get the victory, not only through penalties but on track. with a audacious battle with Izat in the final sector. My goodness, big sin
awesome.
at the hair.
Loved it.
But
thank you very much, Smeg.
No, best of luck with your exams. We need a little bit. But I think with all the questions out of the way, we could probably wrap up the stream. A fairly nice race here in Mexico. As I mentioned earlier, field size doesn't dictate race quality. With 13 cars, we still had a superb race. But tune in throughout the week, as there's still plenty of racing to take place here on Race Spec Esports. But for Pacific Tier 1, we'll have to wait until next Tuesday. Until then, I've been Lane Everingham. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you for round 12 at the Marina Bay Street Circuit for the Singapore Grand Prix. Hope to see you all there, but until then, it's goodbye.